we'll do it on the fly. Just as soon as I make sure that we actually have a stream going. Oh, that does look like a stream. And it's a going. I'm real tempted not to even... I'll tell you what. Once I'm done setting up, then we'll set it up on... Oh shoot, I never actually made the... I never actually hit send on the frickin' Discord tweet. The whole point of it was to have that a little bit early for people. You know? To do is get this Blue Corsola. So, super casual stream going on now as I set it up and chain fish for it. And maybe I'll just skip posting it on the socials. All I do know is that I am not touching anything. I'm not touching the Twitch button until I actually set up the metadata properly. Because apparently I didn't. And I know that'll just be more of a pain on me in the long run if I don't do it now. Like, the play is to do it on Scarlet and Violet, but I don't even know if I'm not even sure if I want to draw that extra attention tonight. It's just, screw it. And are we good on the Twitch platform? It looks like we are. Great. Try to recall. Oh, hey McCoy. Welcome. No, I've been alright. It's been a bit of a busy day, so let me finish setting up and I'll be happy to talk more about it. I'm not expecting to be too on fire tonight, just because, like, I had a long, busy day with way more time outside than I could ever really afford for one day, especially on a hot butt day like today. But dang it, I did not just spend 4 hours last night playing through Pokemon Y to not get to not do some chain fishing this weekend. And I didn't stream last weekend either, so good way to catch up. No. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank of what I even still need to do. How have things been with you? I guess I'll post a tweet to Twitter. And if I'm gonna do that, I might as well post it everywhere. I gotta see something. Will this actually take me to Twitch, or does it take me to some shady back site? That worked. No, but I do kind of recall it, and I recall it being a side quest. So I haven't really touched that part of the game yet. Live to hopefully end this long, drawn-out hunt for Blue Corsola once, hopefully, and for all, with chain fishing in Pokemon Y. I'm glad that actually works, because that actually saves me a lot of trouble. But something tells me it'll only work in Blue Sky now. Yeah. All I can tell you, McCoy, is I have not seen any ghosts. I have not seen any ghost girls whatsoever in this playthrough. And I'm not surprised, because I kind of just like sped through the majority of it just to get to the Super Rod. Like, funniest part is I was under the impression that you had to like get 7 to 8 gym badges and do the whole part of the game where you get the legendary Pokemon. I think I misread things, because I read Route 18 was where you got the Super Rod when it was actually Route 16. So that kind of made me waste like 2 extra routes just all for naught, but now isn't there a woman on this that said we're going on a berry hunt? Not that I recall, but I do recall something with berries way at the beginning of the game, but that was like a whole farming berry family. Oh, come on, if I'm going to go for the trouble of posting to Twitter, X, potato, then I am definitely doing the link here on Tumblr, aka the one social that I haven't completely abandoned. The woman was defending the berry hunt to Michael Rolson going on a bean hunt song. Yeah, I have not really engaged with. I'm not familiar with that meme. I'm assuming that it's a Pokemon XY related meme, and unfortunately, like X and Y are kind of up there in the games that I spend the least amount of time in, at least before the Switch era. We're almost there. I just gotta repost this. Wrong button. Yeah, the memes and the fine cricky stuff, you tend to know this. Fair. And honestly, you know what? If I was more on the internet back when X and Y were new, I'd probably be more familiar with those memes as well. I did remember something else that I actually wanted to do, and that was look up what routes Corsola even shows up on. Pokemon Y, Corsola. Route 12. And it's common with the Super Rod. That's the main reason why I figure it's worth it. Especially... You know what? I'll save that story for when we're actually fishing. Oh, cool. Usually when... That's just because the cable's loose, but usually when that happens, the stream capture freezes up, and I have to reboot the software. But from what I'm seeing on my end, everything still looks good. Not fair, I didn't even know it's McCoy, so you're good. A little too distracted with all this mess. Ah, shoot, you know, I never bothered to actually finish nicknaming my Pokemon. Initially, this whole team was a playthrough I started at least a couple years ago. And... hold on, let me double check. 15... 12. Yeah, and this, I don't remember when it was. I think it was at least a couple years. It was when... maybe even longer, because all I remember is that Pokemon Home was still new. So... I remember booting it back, this playthrough back up, just to catch Scatterbugs to evolve into Vivian to trade across Pokemon Home. And that's not even when I initially started this playthrough. So I've been stuck on like Route 1 for several years at least. Oh. Okay. Take care, McCoy. And hopefully the streaming stuff becomes a bit more frequent for me as well. Take care if you're... Oh, now I'm getting a stun stone. I could have used that significantly before. But I guess that's my bad for just ignoring literally all the NPCs to speedline my way for the Super Rod. And at least the whole accidentally doing more of the plot than I needed to isn't completely in vain, because I think I will eventually beat this playthrough, and if only so I can get the Corsola with the blue ribbon. Or get a ribbon on Blue Corsola when I eventually catch it. So, line myself up against the rocks. And we'll see how I feel about the music. We'll start with just default within the game, but if I get sick of it, I get my music app open, and I'm sure we can find some fun video game themed playlist to go along the way. You know what? That's another thing I could set up. A little counter. I guess I just didn't do it before because I was hoping to... Yeah, I'm gonna apologize in advance because this is gonna be really just a half put together stream on a whole. Because I had no time to set up anything today. Anyways, I'm sorry, but I completely forgot that I brought over my sticky hold user from Omega Ruby just for this occasion. Organized boxes. Yeah. If you want to know how far I am in this game, this is the most recent eventful thing that's happened. And if you played Y, you definitely know. I love the fact that we already got our first Corsola, though. Because that's a really promising sign of things to come. I've kind of decided right now that all this is gonna be edited on the fly. Because why not? What else am I gonna really do while fishing up these Corsolas? Also, I never got a chance to say, but if you hear background noise, that's my AC. It's hot today. I've been outside for so much of the day. I have zero intention of turning it off. So, sorry, but not sorry in advance. And you know what? 2 counters is too much work. I'll just use this one to... Well, that's a real generous one. Cool. Wouldn't it be just fantastic if after all this time, doing everything in my power to try to get Corsola, we ended up getting a shiny of that instead? I say vaguely sarcastically. Because, like, I wouldn't count as a phase, but one of the things I did hunt for in Omega Ruby, I think did include getting a shiny Remoraid. So, like, I already have a shiny Remoraid in a main series game. Yeah. I'm debating what to put for the phase counter, but I think I am just going to put 19. Because then people will ask, how the heck do you phase 19 times in chain fishing? And then I get to tell the whole story of everything I've gone through just to get this stupid Corsola. I should really make this other text box before I completely lose count. Of where we're at. Because unfortunately it's already happening. I think this will be number 6. It definitely isn't more than 6. Corsola is supposed to be a common encounter. The fact that I've already gotten as many auxiliaries as I have Corsola is not a promising sign. I better leave space for Corsola, because we gotta include it eventually. Yeah, I am already terrified of how many auxiliaries we're running into. Just trying to fish up. The Corsola. make one. Cool, I just realized the golden sun background is not too great for the sort of ordeal. That totally should have broke it, but I definitely won't complain about it. Yeah, surely I can borrow this image. Shouldn't be that hard to get onto the setup. It would. The professional thing to do would have been to do all this before going live, but then I would have less chances to check for a Corsola. Oh my god, that was fast! I didn't even have a chance to pull up the picture of the blue of it. That was incredibly fast, even for chain fishing. Okay. Now here's the cool part. I have nothing properly prepared for this. I don't think any of my Pokemon want to even attempt to knock down a level... whatever. Mystic Fire might be my only shot, but I don't even know if I really want to risk that. God, like, I didn't even get the icon of our little... Maybe I should have brought my Bloom over. Oh, that's way more dive balls than I thought I had. Screw it. Let's try to catch the whole thing. I'm just at a bit of a loss because for some reason oh, it's... Wait, I already caught it? Screw it, we don't need a picture of a Corsola. We got the Corsola. The only question is, now what? They prefer unpolluted southern seas. Their coral branches lose their color and deteriorate in dirty water. Now, the problem is, like, I'm conflicted because if I take this all the way to the league, I wanted to follow the theme. I never even got a chance to talk about the theme that we have going on here. But I wanted to... My playthrough is basically a themed... It's a Golden Sun theme, so all the Djinns, or all of my Pokemon are named after Djinnies or summons. But I've been saying ever since I started hunting for this thing in Omega Ruby that I wanted to call it Chris because it's a gender-neutral name, and they tend to hold Moss, which if you play Deltarune, you know the association between Chris and Moss. I guess we'll call it Chris for now, but maybe we can try to get one of each. Either way, I'm saving, and that was embarrassingly fast though. Like, at least makes up for all the time I put into actually playing this game up to the point of getting it. But like, darn, I think I spent more time trying to set up a counter than I did actually getting this thing. There it is. Oh man. I think I picked the perfect... Yeah, Chris is perfect for it, even if it screws up the theme. Chris the Shiny Corsola. It's a naughty nature. Crud. The date is completely off. Because my 3DS clock is off. Well, we at least have visual evidence. I'm assuming... Oh. Thanks, Den? I'm gonna thank your luck in particular if you're still here. Because you definitely said that before we got started, and... My god. This feels fast, even for chain fishing. And the worst part is I didn't even clip it. Ah well. I guess while I figure out what to do next... Yeah! I did. In case you missed it. Here it is again. 13 fishes in. So I think for right now, I'm just gonna fish again and see how many Corsolas it takes until we get an auxiliary, or morbid curiosity is just making me wonder what's happening next. I saw that you assumed it was a prior one. Nope. This is the first... That's the first shiny I got ever since getting the Super Rod. Play through pretty much the entirety of the game just to get that little thing. Man, now's a good time as I need to tell the story of just everything I've been through. So, initially when I Googling earlier on the year, I wanted to try out an Omega Ruby because that was the only game that I had a completed save file in. And while looking through the list of Pokemon you could fish up in Omega Ruby, I decided to lean on Corsola because it was a shiny that you couldn't normally get. And it would be a brand new shiny for me, which is hard for me to come by because I play a lot of Pokemon Go. And it feels like every month... Oh! It's not shiny, but that gives me an idea, a brilliant idea. Let me finish my story first. But yeah, the variety of Pokemon you can fish up in Omega Ruby is a little hard to come by, in my opinion. So I leaned on Corsola because it was one of the few things I didn't already have a shiny for. Oh boy, did I underestimate how bad it could possibly be even with a 5% encounter. Like that little tiny screen on the corner shows. Between all the games I tried to catch it in, I phased about 19 times. Definitely at least to confirm 17. I can almost assure you that 17 of those were from Omega Ruby chain fishing. And yeah, the majority of them were Love Disc. So along the way, I was thinking, screw it. Let's do some... Let me try SOS chaining. I have a save file in Pokemon Sun. Everyone talks about how SOS chaining is the best thing ever. And I even did a test. How bad could it possibly be? Well, initially to start off with, I struggled so hard just to find a Corsola in Pokemon Sun that I eventually gave up and did a fish. And SOS chain Wishy-Washy is one of my more favorite Pokemon in Pokemon Sun, and I was running into it way more often than the Corsola, so screw it. So I SOS chain and got myself a shiny Wishy-Washy. That's probably like phase number 18 or 19, which I technically count as a phase, because even though you have to make conscious effort, it would have been something, it was something that I only got because I was trying to fish up this Blue Corsola. After some various time on and off the treadmill, I eventually actually found the Corsola. Half my problem was I was fishing in Main Island, which it was a 1% in that game. Meanwhile, there was actually a 5% spot that I was completely ignoring the whole time. And funny enough, the moment that I decided to actually fish in the 5% spot, I found it right away. I think I started SOS chain on the treadmill, and then took it into a stream, which there's a previous VOD for, and let's just say it didn't go well. So, I tried again. Oh, boy, did I try again. I didn't find the Corsola and started a chain. Let me get it on my phone so I can tell you exactly how bad that chain went. Like, that was like one of the worst SOS chains in history. Not the worst, but darn close, and if I didn't just give up and let the Corsola not struggle itself to its demise, I feel confident it could have been the worst SOS chain in Pokemon history. Which is a shame because it was something I did completely on my own time, so I have no record of it. So, but yeah, between that first and second attempt, the only downside with what I have on my phone is that I combined the two. I have 952 SOS encounters with Corsola. And not a single one of them turned blue. So, that chain basically took my entire weekend last week. And I was like, screw it. Yeah, it was that bad. Also, congrats on getting your shiny Wishy-Washy. That reminds me, I never actually leveled up my Wishy-Washy so I can actually see it in the schooling form. And now that I remember that's a thing, I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, after that stupid butt SOS chain, I was like, screw it. I don't care. The whole reason I've been avoiding Pokemon Y was because after all this time, I did not even have the second gym badge. But with all the time I spent trying to chain it in Sun and Moon, I figured if I just spent that time progressing through Pokemon Y to the point where I got the Super Rod, I would have had it by now. And with how quickly we finished up that first Corsola, I think I was on to something. And then we just got that first blue Corsola after 13 checks. And that's the story of... That's the Darrier Bridge story of my shenanigans with getting a shiny Corsola. It's not as bad as it seemed, because for a while I was enjoying chain fishing in Omega Ruby, even if I just gotta love this the majority of the time. Because I think even if it wasn't easy, I think chain fishing kind of fits pretty well in how I like to shine hunt, because typically I save more tedious gameplay for my half-hour walks in the treadmill, and half an hour, and usually I can do a couple chaining attempts within an hour. Like, usually my treadmill sessions sometimes go on to like 40 minutes if I'm having a really good roll in the chain, but haven't gotten a sparkle yet. So, it was the perfect activity for treadmilling, and I'm half tempted to go back to Omega Ruby on my own time whenever I need something to do on the treadmill, and see if I can actually get it in that game. But between how long that was going on and the bull that I ran into with SOS chaining, I kind of figured it was about time to end that white whale. Yeah. At least you're not 15... Oh. 5,000 checks for a shiny only soul lock. I'm sorry, I kind of shuddered just reading that sentence out loud. I've heard the tales. But yeah, okay, I see what you mean now though. 15k if you combine all 3 checks. Oh, that was... Give me a sec. I gotta say, that's kind of a pretty long sentence. Anyways, over the course of telling that story, and actually, as I was coming back here to fish, I figured out what I want to do with the rest of this time. I'm gonna go for that Gorbis. That's probably the rare encounter, so I'm probably just signing myself back up for an Omega Ruby Corsola fish again. But at least I can flood myself in shiny Corsola along the way. It beats being flooded in Golden Loftus. At least barely. At least they're both good shinies. Good luck. You wanted to stay for the story before you headed out. Well, good to hear. Hope you have a good day. Take care. That being said, though, if I could think of something else to do... Yeah, shoot. But now I haven't even been keeping track of my fishes. So this counter stuff is just completely... Well, great news! I can reset everything from scratch. Because I wasn't paying enough attention. No, what? No, I don't count... I don't count the Corsola I caught as a phase. Because that Corsola was intended. And actually, if you all don't mind, I'm going to do some technical stuff that I should have done off stream. Willing to chat in the meantime, but like, I'm kind of embarrassed that that course that I wanted for so long, and the date on my 3DS was completely incorrect. Today's date is June 22nd, 2024. I'm not even sure how that got set incorrectly in the first place. Secondly, I am gonna go to the rest. I'll wait until we get the game back up. But I think that marks a good point to actually take a tiny little break and just to refill my water. Alright. BRB. back again in about time too. Darn, like... Now I'm getting all these ideas of things that I should do. Hold on. Apparently locking my computer... I keep forgetting that locking my computer apparently freezes the recording setup. There we go. And you know what, screw it. I'm not even gonna bother keeping track of the phase counter. That feels like too much work when we already, like, got the main goal. So, gonna try one more time here. And depending on how long it takes to get our next shiny, I have a few other places that I want to go fish. Just like, that Gorbis seems way too tempting, but I could also just go for Clam Pearl. Especially because I have a vague idea of where I could go for that. But should I update the Twitch title? I just don't want to update the YouTube title because that feels like too much work, but I could at least update the Twitch title to better reflect what we're going through. And apparently getting distracted is, of course, just as I say, getting distracted is the key to get shinies. My silly distractions just completely screwed my chain up. Not letting that happen twice in a row. Got Corsola. Let's see what else can shine. Now I'm forever wondering if, like, chain fishing is even more busted in this game than it is in Omega Ruby, or if I just got lucky twice, because this is my first chain fish with the Super Rod, but not my first chain fish in this game in general. I'm starting to realize that I missed out on a perfectly good opportunity to show it off back when we were in the PC. And you know what? Speaking of things I'm forgetting, maybe I should teach, since it's the only thing that's not completely over-leveled. I've definitely been playing things dangerously. I keep forgetting that that's actually blue. Really? Corsola can't learn Thief? Oh, what am I doing? For some reason I didn't think I could get False Light as a TM. But I really like my move pool. Oh, I can't be that far away. I can't be that far away. Oh, you fish up a gray and white Corsola. It looks a bit sad for some reason. Jeez, I wonder. I bet that Corsola just had a really, really bad day. Who could know why, though? Complete mystery to us all. I would have realized that I had a false swipe TM, there would have been a significantly lot less panic. But I guess that's all fine and for the best. At least I had a bit of drama before I realized that the Pokeball that I wanted to catch it in there was maybe a millisecond of a delay, and yet I screwed up the chain. Yet I swear there's been times I've been much more delayed, and it was perfectly fine. Oh well. Fishes up Kyogre. If only. Imagine if you could chain fish freaking Kyogre. You can sort of do it. It's called Pokemon Go when you have infinite money. And infinite time to travel, I guess. I don't know, it's been a while. I say it's been a while since Kyogre's been raised in Pokemon Go. But at the same time, it doesn't really feel like it's been that far. Yeah, if only. Oh, wrong hand. I need to have my hand open to press the A button. This hand will do. That. That is the ultimate prize from this lake. Probably not going to happen, but I'll take it as an excuse to get a second Blue Corsola. Which means, with all this amount that I've been hyping it up, we're totally going to get the Octillery. Now, I guess I could talk about playing for the game a bit, like, going through it to try to get the Super Rod actually gave me a chance to actually do what I've been meaning to do way back when I started this playthrough years ago. And that is, like, give Pokemon X and Y a second chance, because, like, my first playthrough, like, I think It's Fine would be a very good description of my first playthrough of Pokemon X and Y, where it's like, I was kind of meta to the plot, but having freaking Megas carried it through. And even, I'm not even sure if I thought the plot was bad back in the day, just Team Flare. I feel confident saying that today though, like, going through now, X and Y Plus it's not too bad, but Team Flare kind of just, they feel like some of the weakest villains in the entire series to me. And then you got Longsander coming out of the middle of nowhere, cranking the drama up to 11 at the very last second. And also, I think it's worth saying, like, I never really took Team Flare's plot seriously until, I forget which name of it, but it was one of those animated shorts that they did for YouTube that specifically was going over, like, major scenes in each main series Pokemon game. I thought that was pretty neat, and after watching that, I could go, okay, I see what they were trying to go for. I respect the dedication. And yeah, I didn't mean to delay your response, but yes, I remember the lore for Gorbis, and it's terrifying indeed. Yes, quote, the enemy team was lame compared to the previous generations, and all 3 stars should have gotten Mega Evolutions to affect the gimmick of the game, otherwise you actually enjoy X and Y. Fair. Personally, I see why the new Pokemon didn't get Mega Evolutions, because at the time they were still new. So, the whole point of Megas was to make the old Pokemon interesting, bring something new to them. And so that's why none of the Pokemon in X and Y got Mega Evolutions, even though it would make sense lore-wise, because the whole Kalos lore, from what I remember, the Kalos War was what essentially made Mega Pokemon in the first place, so it would make more sense that there was more Kalos native Pokemon that got Mega Stones. Makes sense from a the whole decision not to makes sense from a game design standpoint, but there's no denying that it's a little bit nonsensical from a lore standpoint. But that's the great thing about Legends of EA. They got no... Nowadays, the Pokemon from X and Y are just as old as, like, some of the older generation Pokemon were when X and Y first came out. So, the whole reasons that they came up with Mega Evolutions in the first place would work perfectly for Kalos Pokemon now. Yeah, man, that reminds me, I still got them... I would say right up, I already have them right up in voiceover, but I gotta edit some of those Legends of EA Pokedex shorts that I got in the works. We're getting to the interesting part, because I think we got all the boring stuff in my Pokedex out of the way, and we can, like, get into the juicy personal picks. Got a little taste of that with all the talk I had about how I think space-time risk could work in the game. But now I actually get to talk about Pokemon that I actually want to be in the game. Beyond just, like, bring back all the Pokemon who haven't been in a Pokemon game for a hot minute. Yeah, they were... Yeah, exactly, like... The way I see it... Well, maybe not how I see it, but... In my opinion, the ideal scenario would be to save all the starters, like, from Kanto and Hoenn for the post-game, and just give you X and Y starters with Mega Evolutions. Technically, my whole idea is to, like, mimic X and Y, where you start out with the typical Legends fanfare of a completely new assortment of starters to begin the game with. They wouldn't get Megas, but they would get Regionals. And then, like, partly through the game, you would get a second set of starters, and those would be the Kalos starters. And those would be prime candidates to have Megas. I got a whole short series on my YouTube channel, if you're interested to hear more of what I've been thinking about in regards to CA. Even got a playlist going for them and everything. Yes. I kind of just hope that the Kalos starters don't get the fanfare that the Sinnoh starters got, where they're just put into the wild without any sort of fanfare. It worked, don't get me wrong, like, they were rare enough that there was a little bit special to it, but it's easy to forget how rare they were, especially with just, like, the whole mass outbreaks being synced to the point where you might find your first Sinnoh starter from a mass outbreak before you find them in their natural environment. In theory. Of course, now I'm not getting a Corsola and 3 fishes, or 13 fishes. Now it's probably gonna make me go full odds. Speaking of full odds though, like, as I was making my point to the Super Rod yesterday, I was also working my way towards finally completing the Pokedex in Galar of all things. Way too little too late. But I got thinking lately of just, like, how for Scarlet and Violet I just pretty much moved Pokemon between Home and Scarlet until I got all the Pokedex entries filled. And Dynamax Adventure is a fun enough game mode that I finally got thinking, oh hey, shiny number 2! the smoke first of every Corsola fished up and I hate how YouTube... Here we go. I hate how YouTube reaction. I love the reaction button, but I hate how it blocks the corner of the chat. The smoke shirt. Anyways, the smoke smirk of every Corsola fished up grates on the mine. So, this one's a girl. That's cute. Trying to see what other Pokeballs I can catch them in. Not that Pokeball. I could, if I'm going for just easy Pokeballs, I could just go for Quick Ball. It sort of works with coloring. And I already did the perfect one. Luxury Ball is nice too. Don't get as many Premier Balls as I'd like though. I could even catch it in a repeat ball, but even the quick ball is a little bit more coloration. Yeah, I know, Lunatic. Only reason I don't go for my dive ball is because I already caught the first one in a dive ball. If I catch a third or a fourth, I might go back to dive balls because it's such a perfect color for it. But I figure if we're gonna get as many Corsolas as I'm suspecting, we probably have room to rotate between at least a couple Pokeballs. Anyways, in case I forget to change Chris back for the playthrough. Oh, this is gonna be embarrassing. I'm gonna misspell Coral. But there is actually a Ginny in Golden Sun. I believe it's a Dark Dawn Ginny though, called Coral, and it's just too perfect of a name. And let me see. Let me try one more time. Probably to my dismay, when I could just like go for Poliwag or something else. Oh shoot, I forgot. We never did a nature check. We're only one Corsola in, and I've been meaning to show off the one other thing I got from my chain fishing practice with the good rod. So let's go do a nature check on that one we got. If we get any more in the stream, I probably will just wait until the end because like it would get a little tedious to backtrack for every single Corsola we got, but this is only the second one. It has a different name, so it's still special. And I have an excuse. So here's Coral. She's hardy. And that feels kind of fitting. What nature did Chris have again? Oh, I think Natural Cure is just the ability to get big fall. Where are you? This is my first shiny in Pokemon Y. It's kind of my fault because I fished in a route where it was a common encounter, and I was thinking, you know, it looks better today. But I was thinking, like, yes, I know this is probably one of the weaker shinies in the entire game, but I've never gotten a shiny Basculin in any sort of game. I'm gonna go for it. And sure enough, I got it. At least it'll be a fun novelty to eventually transfer to home. It's kind of a shame that like only the white striped Basculin can evolve into Basculegion, because that would be a fun thing too. Oh man, do we go? Do we try one more time for that Gorbis? Or do I do one of the other routes that I want to try to chainfish something for? Jeez, like, I don't know what it is about this game, but I feel like I'm having better luck in Y than even in Omega Ruby, even though they should both be the same shiny hunting mechanic. They should be the same. But I've had times where I've chain fished an Omega Ruby for half an hour and got a diddly squat, or my chain breaks either because I'm too slow, even though I press it at the same time, or it's very rare, but I have had times, even with Muck, even with my sticky hold user, out in front here to like increase the odds of actually getting a bite. I have had rare occasions where I get absolutely no bite whatsoever, and the chain's just dead. It is definitely more rare. My time fishing in Sun and Moon definitely proves that point. But it's not really... But it can happen. Anyways, I'm gonna take a tiny little break from talking, do some fishing, get some sips of my drink before it gets too late and the caffeine completely screws up my sleep schedule. Problem is I gotta be really careful because I do not want to have a spit take with Mountain Dew of all things. And yet I feel like I'm just asking for it, drawing all this attention to taking a sip of Mountain Dew. You know what? The more I think about it, I think I'm gonna have this be the game that I chain fish on the treadmill going forward. Because sure, a whole box of Corsola is the same problem as a whole box of Love Disc, but it feels so narcissistic. It's so fulfilling until I find a better word that I'm looking for. It just makes like everything it's so so satisfying, so gratifying to just catch 2 Corsolas in a row when they've gone through so much heartache in every single other game just to get one. Man, it's only been an hour and we've already gotten 2 of them. I should probably, like... I guess while there's a lull, I could at least look up. I should look up what else I can chain fish around here. But I can't really think of a good way to look up that sort of information. Oh yeah, and I also was thinking about, like, changing the music up. But I'm not sure what. I would do the Mad Rat Dead soundtrack, because it's been a while since I've listened to it, but man, that soundtrack has gone for so many copyright issues that probably as bad of an idea as listening to any actual DMCA-able music. We could just pull out my... Now what music do I have on this? I call it the Daydream sound list, or the... Excuse me. I call it the Daydream playlist because it's music that I associate with my OC dream game, so a lot of times when I just want to ponder about that world, there's various songs I associate with various parts of that game, even though it doesn't exist, and all these songs kind of just like feel like they could fit into something. I don't know. Oh, you know what we can do though? It'll definitely take a few more clicks to get to you, but yeah, I don't think it'd be spoilers. Let's listen to the Undertale Yellow soundtrack. Where was that song though? One of these is an Undertale Yellow song. And I know I can use that to like get to the rest of the soundtrack. But of course now I can't find it. Oh, it was a cover of Undertale Yellow, not the actual playlist. Oh, well, surely I can just like tap some buttons and get to it. Alright, yeah. Let's turn this off. Let's get this going. Ugh. I deserve that. It doesn't sound. It sounds really loud on my end, but on the desktop audio end, it does not sound loud enough. Surely, if it's not even that loud, we're good. Not as good as my chain, but that's what I get for trying to be too cocky. Shoot. Only problem is that now I can't listen for the audio cue of actually fishing up something. I think I'll manage. Yeah, for those who don't know, Undertale Yellow is a fan game of, well, Undertale. And hopefully I don't have to explain what Undertale is. It's a really good game. Like, it's completely free, and yet I would totally pay like $10 for it if I could. It's a full game. I think one of the better parts about it is how it doesn't really rely on any of the characters from the original Undertale to tell a story, and yet the story is, in my opinion, as strong as the original game. Like, the characterization of it, at the very least, is real good. Yeah, that was like an idea I had for an editorial to like just talk about that, but man, that has been so long at this point, and how much do I want to? Would that be saying too much? I don't know. Yeah, like, even when fishing... I definitely did a stream of this in Omega Ruby, and I did not have this crazy luck. Then again, thinking more about it... Oh, I completely forgot that this was a song. Like, the menu theme goes way harder than it has any right to. And yet I realized I never actually bothered to go into the menu when playing Yellow myself. Now I'm thinking I gotta boot the game back up and just hear this song in this natural environment. Cause this is nuts for just an options theme. Next thing, I was getting into something good. I'm sure it'll come back to me. We'll have plenty of things to fish. Can you imagine that I was worried that we wouldn't get Blue Corsola because when we started up fishing, nothing but auxiliaries would show up? Boy, howdy do I feel silly now that I'm actually trying to go for something besides Corsola. Oh, there you are. I don't know why I'm so hesitant to get a shiny auxiliary. it's cool. I've seen for other people's videos of like the alpha shiny artillery, and it's a real good shiny. I guess when the goal was to get Blue Corsola after everything that was in the way. You can't blame me for being a little worried about seeing so many of these. Also, the fact that I already have the Remoraid doesn't help matters. It will come back to me. I will remember what the heck I was going on about. In the meantime, I guess that Nintendo Direct is still kind of new, and I'm thinking a lot right now about the Mario and Luigi game. I think just the fact that it's a new game and not a remake means so much to me, because I thought I was a fan of RPG Marios, but I have not been able to get into the past two remakes as much as I wanted. Like, I have fun, but I fell off of Super Mario RPG before I could finish it, and I'm still pretty far behind with Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. The prior, I don't know, just like, I've seen the game in LPs enough times that the gameplay that I'm relying a lot on the gameplay to carry me through it all. And I hate to admit it, but Super Mario RPG was an SNES game. So it's like freaking 20 years old, and minus a few minor tweaks, there hasn't been that much added to the gameplay to make it more engaging. That's the only reason I can think of why I fell off it. Thousand Year Door, I don't know. I think the problem is I got really into trying to get the Shiny Corsola right in the middle of my Thousand Year Door playthrough. So hopefully now that that's taken care of, I'll be able to just sit down and play it. Because every time I do boot it up, I do have a lot of fun with the Thousand Year Door remake. I guess I'm just pretty stressed out over the fact that I'm so far behind. Meanwhile, like, you can't go on the internet without someone spoiling the few new things that they added onto the remake. Like, I've learned that there's super bosses they added in, and I've already seen 2 from clickbait thumbnails. Not even clickbait, like, just default thumbnails. I'm so far behind the game that it kind of discourages me from actually making progress with it. Oh, I thought we were on that song. If we get to that song, I might just skip it, because that's one of the few things that I feel are definitely worth listening in its natural environment. It's been a long time since I've heard this rendition of it. Oh yeah, I think I was talking about how lucky today has been. Man, like, today was also Cyndaquil Community Day Classic, and it's kind of what I know. Community Day Classics may not excite people as much as a brand new Community Day, but Cyndaquil's up there. Like, if Umbreon and Ampharos weren't in the same exact generation, Cyndaquil probably would be my favorite Pokemon from that generation. But there's just so many Gen 2 Pokemon that stick out to me for sentimental reasons. At least 2. Also, I got rained out of Goomy Day. The irony's not lost on me, especially when Pokemon Go, it never actually rained in-app, even though it was downpouring in real life. And that's a whole story in of itself that I've told on a different stream, though. The point being is, like, I felt like I had time. I had this Community Day Classic. There was time that needed to be redeemed. And jumping from, like, 17 on Goomy Day to, like, I think it was 26 Shinies today. I think... Oh! Speaking of gold Shinies... Wow, I actually wasn't disappointed about that. I guess I just already accepted it. It was inevitable. You actually might look pretty good in an Ultra Ball, but let's see what else I have. Premier Ball. I should really go back and stock up on Pokeballs. I'll admit, I was not thinking that we'd be catching this many shiny Pokemon today, even though chain fishing can be kind of crazy easy. I mean, this ball would be pretty good if it wasn't for the green. Half them to just catch you in a luxury ball. Black and red just looks good on anything, even if it's not the best color coordination. Ironically, a quick ball might not look bad either. Do I go for Ultra Ball or Quick Ball? I really like the Quick Ball on it. Screw it. Yeah, so much for the Quick Ball. Yeah, so we could probably pause the music for a sec. Let's get some... Let's get some in-game action here. False swipe, and be careful not to accidentally press something else. Really? Come on, Hayes, you're like 5 levels above this thing. You know, I got one more Quick Ball, so I'll give it another try. One, a 2, a 3. It's kind of ironic that the Quick Ball worked better on this turn rather than the first turn. I forget if this was before or after the buff, though, so that might be part of it. I think the best part is that we get this, that I spent so little time in the Pokedex, or in this game. We get to see these shiny Pokemon on the Pokedex screen, which is pretty novel in and of itself. It traps foes with the suction cups on its tentacles, and then smashes them with its rock-hard head. Wow, why do we not hear more people talk about the rock-hard head that Octori allegedly has? Here's the thing, though. I have not bothered to think of a nickname for it. It's gold and it's an octopus. That's all I really have to work with it. Maybe I should try to go for the Golden Sun theme, since I'm going to run out of Jin names if I stick to the Golden Sun theme for every shiny we catch. But surely there's a Golden Sun summon. Or something that works. It's right in the tip of my tongue. We'll go with Spritz as a backup plan, but I'm sure we can find a Golden Sun Ginny that would fit this guy perfectly. There is a Ginny that's literally called Eddie. And I don't know why, but October kind of strikes me as an Eddie. I definitely want to check the summons first, but Eddie is a strong candidate. Because I think, like, other than that, it would be like Narati. Pretty cool water summon. Neptune. I don't know. Neptune doesn't beat Eddie, ironically. Bosees, but Bosees is more like an ice-based summon. Oh, Mulch. I don't know. Like, this is a prime Mulch, but Eddie exists. And there's Colern, but that summon's more girl-like, so I wouldn't mind calling Colern. But Eddie is strong in my head. I don't think there's going to be anything I can do to talk myself out of it. I gotta Google if there's any sort of water association between water and Eddie, or if they just made it up, because the Jinny's ability is to speed up the recovery time for other Jinnies, so there's not even like, it's not even like a water-based effect. It could be just like, what do we name this Jinny? It's a water summon, but all it does is like make other Jinnies recover faster. Let's call it Eddie. Yeah, I'm gonna feel real dumb if there's actually a significant thing about water and Eddie when I'm Googling, but it would be hilarious. So I don't mind proving myself wrong because of that. Anyways, I can't believe we're going back for a nature check. Third Chinese tonight, but we gotta see what's up with Eddie. Oh, and it's got a sniper. I doubt that's a hidden ability, but that does seem like a really good ability for artillery. And it's modest. So we got 2 Corsolas, we got an artillery. Allegedly, I could go for the Gorbis again, but I don't want to push my luck either. I'm gonna fly back to that. I actually deposited the one Pokemon that actually matters to keep out for this, of course. Alright, Chris, you had your fun. Oh wow, we're already an hour and a half. Time for that last one just flew by. While I figure out the shiny that I want most next, there was one town, the Fairy Town. I think it was here. When I saw that you could fish up Poliwag, I wanted to get a shiny one. But I was so conflicted between Basculin and Poliwag that I just decided to fish for the Basculin. And with the hopes that if I got really lucky, maybe I get the shiny Poliwhirl instead. Fate was... I don't even know if I would say it was on my side or against my side. But we sure got a shiny... or should I say, I sure got a shiny Basculin in the process. Though I should check with what we can fish up here with the super rod, because it might even be better than a polywag. Okay, can I get a count of hands here? How many of you all, especially before it was a 3D moving model, thought Polywag's mouth was a nose? Because I unfortunately would consider myself part of that camp. Also, what am I doing? I have a whole playlist of music that we could be listening to. Really? Is it really just more Poliwhirl? They're at level 35. Shoot. Wow, Simone, you are not doing too well. Come on, why? I guess I'll fish a couple more times with the super rod. But if we're just getting Poliwhirls out here, I might just go back to the old rod. Okay, you really want doing this game blue stripe for super and right. And red stripes for good? That's the only difference you want to make? You don't want, oh, I don't know, give us a cool Pokemon to fish out with the super rod? I guess not. Also, I never really got done explaining Undertale Yellow. I guess partly because I don't want to explain too much, but the general gist is that Undertale Yellow takes the concept of Undertale and goes, what if instead of playing as the Red Soul, you played as the human of the Yellow Soul? And that's the basic gist. Here. Just is a full heal. I got so much money, and I'm sure I can make it back if I really want to. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just stick to the old rod. Because even though technically it would be a different shiny, I don't know if I could really have the heart of getting both a shiny red and blue stripe Basculin. Oh, cool. Looks like Bulbapedia has an entire entry on exactly this. Don't mind me until I get something in this chat. I'll just keep checking this out. So Route 3, we got Magikarp, Goldeen, Corphish. Corphish might be a fun shiny to hook up. Not sure if it beats Poliwag, but it would be from the sense of, well, Poliwag had an entire community day, so I do got a decent handful of shiny Poliwags already, even if it's not in a main series game. But what if I try to go for a Relicanth? Because the alternatives I could fish up aren't bad either. And allow me to flex the super rod I got. I mean, you know what? I'm sorry, I gotta pause the music until I'm done looking through here. Because I keep forgetting how much I rely on the audio cue of the explanation point when multitasking chain fishing. Oh, that's right. I saw someone posting a shiny Staryu that they found. I'm sorry. It looks slightly lighter than the other Poliwags, and I got myself excited for a second. Oh, Dratini is an option. Staryu seems like the most promising one. Oh, I mean, I guess if I really wanted Basculinder's place to fish, I guess there's not as much variety in X and Y fishing as I thought there was. I guess it is about on par with Omega Ruby. It's just that, of course, the one that I wanted was a common encounter in this game, and a rare encounter that only appears in one route, so you can't really even fish for other Pokemon in Omega Ruby. That's the hard part. Like, if I could fish for Corsola in multiple places and get, like, things besides Luftisc on my faces, that would have been so much more exciting. But unfortunately, it only appears in 2 routes, and they have the same pool of Pokemon to fish up. So I'm leaning towards Route 8, but Route 3 of the Super Rod also sounds good, and even Silent City or Ambrette Town, just to see if I can get the Relicanth, also seems like an option. Unfortunately, I feel way too invested into this chain. So unless we get the shiny really soon or my chain breaks, I think this will be the last one for tonight. But time give, I think I gotta narrow down where I want to go next. That said, let's get the Undertale Yellow music back in here. We can even listen to Fever Pitch from the beginning again. I think like it's the best part. Like, the music in Undertale Yellow is so good. Like, it, in my opinion, it even it rivals the music that Toby Fox did for the initial Undertale. Yeah, finishing up my Mountain Dew at 9:30. I'm sure that won't come to bite me in the butt. It's just a sip and a half, though. And I'm glad I decided to stream, because it's not too different from how I would spend the night chilling anyways. And I get to stream. I get to say that I did a stream this week. So let's see. Yeah, I see it now, especially when it's wide open like that. But every now and then, I revert back to my childhood memories of it's a nose, not a mouth, which makes it kind of freaky when it's actually moving the alleged nose. Yeah, it's kind of interesting just how much things can change just from going from a sprite to a model. Because it's kind of similar to... This isn't going to make any sense, but I'm going to finish the sentence anyways. It's kind of like going from a book to a movie where, like, you visualize... With the more limited visuals, there's a lot more left up to the imagination, so you can have interpretations that would never happen if you were just watching a movie of something. And I kind of half hope that this chain breaks so I could fish for something else. I mean, at this point, I'm not sure if I would even have enough time to start up a new chain. I'm just glad that this is giving me all these ideas of things that I could do for treadmill fishing, because chain fishing fits so well into 20 to 40 minute increments, because you either lose your chain or you get shiny by that time frame. There has been occasions where I've had really long chains that go on even longer, but overall it works pretty well. And I suppose, like, if I could save in the middle of an SOS chain, then even that would be a nice thing to have for treadmilling and all that. But it was bad enough when I left my 3DS on for 3 different weekends, or 3 different days throughout the weekend in a row. I had the charger right there, so it wasn't like I was in risk of the battery going dead, but I felt bad wasting that much power even in sleep mode. Yeah, there's another thing that I kind of bypassed doing in Undertale Yellow, that whole side quest. If there wasn't so many other video games that I have to finish, I would go back and do another playthrough of Undertale Yellow, even if I don't have the heart to do anything besides the playthrough that gives me the best ending. Just for the side quests that I completely skipped the first time around. There was actually a couple side quests I've noticed that I kind of missed out on first playthrough. So there is definitely still merit in playing the game for that, if not that alone. Again, I should say. I just realized I never shared that I was streaming across the other Discord servers I'm in. Well, too late now. But I guess the fact that so many people stopped by to say hi kind of makes me feel like I did something right to the stream. The big thing is, I actually... See, this is what I'm talking about. I swear I pressed the A button as soon as I saw the exclamation point. And I've definitely been more delayed than that. And yet, that wasn't fast enough for the game. Ah, man. The worst part is, like, I don't know if I really want to start a new chain as much as I was hyping it up. But we're not even close to 2 hours yet. I guess I could fly to one more location and do one more attempt. Ah, man. But do I go for the Relicanth? Or the Star U? Maybe even Star Me. Because Shiny Quillfish would be kind of cool to get. And as much, I would prefer a Star U, but Star Me would be kind of cool too. Where's Ambrette Town? Yeah, let's see. I gotta at least try once to get the Relicanth. It doesn't even look like the rarest thing in this encounter pool. That said, I really gotta take a break to fill up on water at the very least, so... I don't know if I feel comfortable leaving the Undertale music going without any sort of commentary. So, I'll give you original game audio. This is a solid track anyways. BRB. Alright, and we're back. Definitely needed more water, among other things. That said, I think with it being an hour and 15 minutes, I think it's safe to say that this will be the last chain for the night. I just gotta find a place to fish. And problem is, does this still count as Ambrette Town? It says it's Route 8, but I guess I could throw the rod in the water and see what comes up. Not that rod, but I think I just fly to the city because it's basically have to be on the city for the relevant chance. And I don't know where the water is in the city that doesn't go into Route 8 by accident. So Ambrette Town is the other place. Surely it's a town that I've already been to. Why am I blink? Right. These are the same place. Ah, I see. Yes, they are the same place. Oh shoot, I was looking at the wrong game. Luckily the Relican still sing. It's just that I get the spelling of the name is vaguely in my mind, but the pronunciation, my god, I don't even want to try to attempt the pronunciation. But it's the dragon, the seahorse dragon mon. Alright, let's go for it. First encounter, Relican. Promising start. Okay, let's... It's my imagination, but this music sounds significantly louder than before. Drelgy. I actually have no idea what this shiny looks like, so I hope it's good because it looks like it's the rare counter, but if we're already running into it, it could be just as crazy as the Seadra, and maybe it'd be even better than the Seadra. Yeah. I think Seadra's supposed to show up here. I mean, I've only done 3 fish. There's gotta be a better word than 3 fish. Like, what's the verbiage of fishing, but in a singular sense? you clearly wouldn't say 1 fishing, or 2 fishing, or 3 fishing, or 4 fishing. Cast? I actually, thinking more about it, cast is the word I'm looking for. It's a bit of a shame I actually thought about it, because maybe I should just keep calling it fish, or fishings, for the funnies. Did I mention that? Yeah, I think I did mention that I got the national... Sorry, I don't see this Pokemon too often. I've probably seen it in Pokemon Go more than any other game. So, even the normal color palette is gonna look strange to me. Especially because it looks a lot more saturated, or maybe even anti-saturated, than it does in the little tiny screenshot. Oh dear, this doesn't even count as a song. There we go. I don't know if snow music while we're fishing on the beach in the middle of the summer where it's been 80 degrees. I think there's actually even times today where the forecast got as high as like 86 Fahrenheit. Oh, that reminds me, I was going to talk about all the shinies that my luck with Community Day. Never got around to it. But speaking of things I never got around to, I just remembered that I have not checked on Pokemon Sleep since lunchtime. Granted, I pushed lunchtime to at least 5 p.m. But Snorlax should probably get dinner soon. Yeah, even Midnight's like, even my Umbreon's already giving stuff, or like getting extra bonuses. I definitely waited too long. I gotta at least get the berries and the ingredients. Maybe I'll wait until after stream to actually feed them dinner, even if it means not having dinner until like 10 or 11 p.m. I'm sure it'll be fine. Yeah, are we sure that Kingdra even shows... Or, I'm saying Kingdra, but I mean to say Seadra. But we're sure it actually shows up here, right? That's fine. It's probably the thing I'm least looking for out of the 3 here. So if it just wants to stay away forever, that's perfectly fine. Keep giving me Relicants. I should not be complaining about that. So anyways, I got the phone here to pull up Pokemon Go, because I had a fantastic time for Cyndaquil Community Day. The only downside was it being so freaking hot, but I got over that. There was even like forecast for rain that I was worried about. And I thought that the worst of my fears were happening when it started sprinkling right around slightly before the forecast of rain showed up. Funny enough, it barely got beyond the sprinkle, and then there was basically no rain for the rest of the Community Day. That was just amazing. But not as amazing as everything that's been happening with the Cyndaquils. Let me make sure I go for the right rod. Maybe I should have deselected the old rod from here. So, yeah, where do I even start? Like, for one, I got way more shinies than I did for Gumi Community Day. It's amazing how much more you can do when you're not forced to sit around in a car, not even like drive and play, just sit in it for 2/3 of the Community Day. It's nice. Now, don't worry, I'm gonna get the numbers and show you all eventually. I just don't want to get too carried away with multitasking that I forget to press the A button. Margaret's theme. She's a cool character. I don't quite understand why people get as obsessive, or should I say the fans get as obsessive over her as they do. Like, she's a cool character, she's just not my favorite. I guess it's just that type of appeal. Anyway, shinies for Pokemon Go. I have here 26 different shiny Cyndaquils and their evolutions. And I believe I only got like 17 on Gumi Community Day. So that alone is a lot more exciting into itself. But not only did I get quantity, thank goodness, I got quality. Man, where do I even start? I guess with the shinies. On top of all the Cyndaquils, technically I only got 25 shiny Cyndaquils because I was checking some research and I actually got a shiny Lapras from one of them. And that's pretty cool because it was from a research that I could just hold on to and get different pictures of it from different locations. I didn't take too much of advantage of it because I was so focused on trying to catch Cyndaquils. But it is something. Let's see here, I got... When I talk about PvP rankings, I'm going by PvP pokes. Just for future clarification. Got an Ultra Rank, a number 55 Ultra Rank one. Like, it's the 55th best according to Pokegenie. But that's not even the one I evolved because I have a Typhlosion here that's rank number 22 for the Ultra Link. And that's a shiny. That's not even the best one that I got for specifically PvP. But I'll get to that in a second. Shiny wise, I think the best one in a general sense I got was this one that has the appraisal spread of 15, 14, 9. That's pretty good. That's like 3 stars. Oh man. And don't worry, I did not forget about you. Fine, Typhlosion. We'll come back to you later. Just gotta make sure I don't screw this up. Yeah, I think like one of the better ones I evolved was a 15, 14, 15 in the appraisal spread. One that's ranked number 3 for Great League and PvP. And I know I had better ones for Ultra League as well. I just didn't evolve them because like the shiny was so cool. The shiny being number 22 ranked, so good. That's not even worth it. Oh yeah, yeah, man. Also, I almost completely forgot. Here's the other ones. I guess I just wasn't scrolling down far enough. I finally got my first Chargetek in Pokemon Go. I may not hatch the most eggs in Go. Generally, I just play with a single incubator. But of course, it takes me until an event focused around hatching fire Pokemon for me to get my first Chargetek in general. I can't tell how much of it is my brain failing to pronounce and how much of it is my voice getting a little scratchy from all the commentating. But hey, that's a huge deal. So, because now I can start actually walking one to get candies to evolve it. If I wasn't still working on Larvesta. But last but not least, I have a story. So typically I don't trade with people in Pokemon Go, but been kind of getting my family more involved in it. So I got the idea of doing a trade with one of them, especially because we were sitting at Lucky Friends, and I need more lucky Pokemon before I can even get to level 49. Longest time I just accepted the fact that I would be 40. I keep seeing yeah, that's right. For the longest time I just accepted the fact that I would be stuck at level 48 forever. But now that I'm actually trading again, there's a chance, because I have to get 10 lucky Pokemon, and I have to do one of them I have to do several hundred, the other I have to do 10. I forget which. One involves trading from far away, and the other involves getting lucky Pokemon. So we decided to swap shiny Cyndaquils. Long convoluted story to say all that. And you'll never guess what happened when I trained my mind. Of course they're lucky, so they would be good, but the Cyndaquil I got has 15 attack out of 15. 15 defense and 15 HP. Yeah, it's a Shundo. A perfect appraisal shiny Cyndaquil. The only downside is that by the time we got around to do trade, it was 702. And because I was dumb and relied on an outdated FAQ post that Niantic had, I was under the impression that the policy was still you could evolve your Pokemon anytime within 5 hours after the event to get the Community Day move. Even though right on the post for Cyndaquil Community Day, it mentions only 2 hours. Come on. 2 hours after the post. So yeah, I got so excited to evolve it, and it didn't even have the Community Day move. The good news is that I'm sitting on so many elite charged TMs that I was just screw it. If the game doesn't want to give me Blast Burn, even though I evolved it during Community Day, at least during the Community Day window in my heart, I'm just going to use that TM. What else am I going to do with them? Actually play Go Battle League? So yeah, also it ends well because I got the Shundo with the Community Day move, even if it was in the least ideal way possible. I did send a little tweet over to Niantic with the hopes that maybe they'll take pity on me and give me an elite TM to make up for wasting mine, because technically it was their post on their website that was the reason that I made that fatal mistake in the first place. Even I will admit it's a little bit of a stretch, but it is technically their fault, so it doesn't hurt to ask. What else am I going to use Twitter for anyways? I can't believe I'm still going when I said that was the last chain. That was just a BS chain break in my opinion. Was there anything else cool that happened in Pokemon Go? Since we're definitely not ending before 2.5 hours at this point. Sadly, nothing's coming to mind. Yeah, it's kind of nuts. I have not... all this fishing. Oh man, I feel like I'm just jinxing myself into getting a shiny Seadra. But I have not seen a single Kingdra or Seadra this entire time. Not complaining though. The further away that Cedra stays away from all of us, excuse me, the better. Yeah, but I'm definitely ending after this chain no matter what. Definitely feeling tired, and at this rate I'm not going to have any time to actually set up to like save the VOD or in that over on Twitch. At least I have the YouTube VOD if anything happens, but man, I haven't even made clips or done any of that cool Twitch stuff, despite the fact that there's been more than enough opportunities to do so. But like, I've been busy and outside way more than I like to admit, because I gotta ask, we have a lot, pretty big, I gotta ask to cut grass, and it takes a while to cut our grass here. So I had to squeeze grass cutting time in the morning before, or early afternoon before I headed out. And then like I spent another hour cutting the grass when I got back. So I was definitely out for community day more than I like to admit. Oops. Sorry if that showed up on the screen. But I gotta mess around and get my DS plugged in, because apparently even with a full battery, my 3DS for recording can just barely hold a 2-hour charge. That does not seem good, but at least for the purposes I tend to use it for these days, it's not that big of a deal. Like, this has my capture device, so this is my recording 3DS. And it's not flashing, so it probably has got another 20 minutes, half hour to it. And don't mind me, I'm not sure if it'll be any more or less visible on the mic. But I've just noticed that I wasn't sitting back in my seat at all. So I figured I was more than overdue to actually do that. Now, speaking of, what should I name? I guess I could take this time to try to figure out what nickname I'm going to give the Relican if I get it. Maybe what are you again? Dralgy? Yeah, it's Dralgy because it's algae and it's a dragon. Okay, I got that now. I'm gonna focus on Relican first because that's what I want. What golden sun? You're like a super ancient summon. Like color, depending on the color here might work for you. Dallas is the one that's kind of really tied to old and ancient. Azu might be a pretty cool summon name for you too, and probably work for either one. Let me see if there's any Jinnies that fit the description though. Got Balm, Ceramic. Specifically, Earth ones might work too, but I'm gonna try to focus on water. There's a Jin that's like has flavor text really tied to ancient times or something. That might be good. This heal, tonic, do. There's Mud. I don't know if I would want to name my Relican Mud though. There's Steel. I just remembered that the Steel is kind of like a pretty clever wordplay for a Jenny name because it's steel spelt like the metal, S-T-E-E-L. But his description is all about stealing, S-T-E-A-L, HP from an opponent. That's kind of cute. Meld? Petra might be a fun name. And this whole thing is like turning enemies into stone, and it's like an old ancient fish. Yeah, I'm currently leaning towards Petra. I'm gonna scroll through the rest of the names because I got nothing better to do. See if we come up with something else that's even more fitting, but I think Petra wins. Oh no, that's the old rod, not the super rod. I don't think the chain breaks as long as I go back to the super rod, but oh my god, and if that will end up being the shiny, because I misclicked once, that wouldn't have been good. It's not like I have half a box full of shiny Love-This already. Maybe even a full box. Definitely close. Shane, Steen, Ryan, Gil, Eddie. Oh, man, Eddie's probably like the most random Jin name in the entire series. And it's not even a Dark Dawn. That's like from Lost Age, which is for many people the peak of Golden Sun. I definitely felt that way growing up, but I'm not sure if it's because I'm old and like smaller games these days, but I've gotten a lot of attachment to the first Golden Sun. I'd be kind of curious of how many other people have the opinion of preferring the first game over the second game, and how much of that is just due to the fact that they didn't have the second game as long. Bark, brick, gear. Feral is kind of neat, but mud is literally, or Petra was literally right there. Garland, pewter, chasm, chain, buckle, clover, magnet, ivy. Yeah, like, if we don't get anything by 10:30, I'm gonna definitely cut it before then. I'm already tempted to cut it now, even though chain hasn't technically broke yet. I don't know, I'm just real curious. There's definitely no research on it, so there's no way to prove whether or not switching fishing rods in the middle of a chain fish would break the chain. And can we talk about how messed up research for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire shiny hunting is? Specifically with like the DexNav chaining. Like, Bulbapedia said one thing, yet this top search result isn't a Bulbapedia page, but a Reddit thread saying the complete opposite thing. Every time I do something besides the buttons I mean to press, I don't know if I would say my heart stops for a second, but that's the physical. That's pretty much the equivalent that goes through my head of like stopping, going wait, before realizing that everything's fine. There's actually been, ironically enough, there's been times in Omega Ruby where my chains broke because I have the Eon Flute shortcut along with the fishing rod, And there's actually been once or twice when I accidentally hit the Eon flute rather than the fishing rod. And that sucks. The nice part about chain fishing is that even if you mess up, it doesn't feel as bad to just get back to your initial chain. Partly because the chain is so small to reach the maximum. Finding a lot of relicants. None of them are blue. And I'm convinced that a Cedra doesn't exist. I don't know if I would be mad or just hysterical if this whole time we don't see a single Cedra, but the first time we do, it's a shiny. I'm gonna get the last on my system now as is. Oh my god. That was full, but it's fine. I was just about to say, I need to stop talking. This is definitely too much strain. I don't know. Especially for one day, I say we got a pretty good haul. I mean, this is more than I typically would do with chain fishing in a single day. So maybe it balances out. Like, well, let's say 2 hours. I don't think I spent 20 minutes setting up, but I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, it's definitely... let's say like 2:10 at the very least. Pardon me. 3 shinies in one night. Just in the main game. I think that's pretty good. Chris, Coral, Eddie. I kind of wonder if I should even save, because I definitely... it does artificially inflate my time, but just to be on the safe side, I know I saved after the last shiny, but just in case. Alright, thank you all for tuning in for this stream. I'm glad I did it, even though it was kind of a last minute thing, and I literally just... when I started this stream at 7:50, that was literally the first time I really got to sit down and settle down. I've been pretty busy today. So, part of me wanted to just sit and chill. But this worked out too. It's pretty much sitting and chilling. With a little bit more talking than I would like, but... or a little more talking than I usually would do. Like, I mean, my ideal chill doesn't usually require commentating for 2.5 hours, but we ended up having some fun conversations. It was some fun talk, so I say it's worth it. If nothing else, I got some fun shorts to make to pad out the time between now and my next ZA short. And I'll use more free content. I definitely need it now that I finished editing XG, and that series will be wrapping up in a few weeks. I'll definitely take any sort of filler that I can get to buy myself enough time to finish whatever I decide to do next. Okay, I'm blabbling on for too much. See y'all later. Maybe next Saturday around the same time if we're real lucky. Take care. Shoot, did I even save?